Good morning, party people. We are coming to you live for an episode of Honest Trailer Commentaries.
Sounds like we're in a stadium. This is crazy.
Hello. Can you hear the echo? Maybe that's just my headphones.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm Spencer Gilbert. That's Joe Starr. That's Dan Merle.
We're live and we're working out the kinks.
New old studio, same old problems.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Oscars Honest Trailer today, I imagine.
Yes.
Yeah,
we are.
that's what we did last week.
Yep.
So hopefully it's live right now for your enjoyment, or maybe in an hour or something.
No, it should be
it's
live now.
We're live right
Great.
now to the world.
Watch that, come back, watch this, hear our insight into the 8 Best Picture nominees, and some deleted scenes at the end, I think, per usual.
Yeah.
We should.
I think
we
we
cut some
got
things.
a couple of things.
Yeah.
we did. We had some alts
Yeah.
and stuff.
So, gentlemen, the Oscars, the
Oh,
Academy
boy.
Awards, where the stars shine brightly on the streets of Los Angeles. What's your take on this year's Oscars, Dan?
What's the Oscars' take on this year's Oscars? It's been a mess.
a hot
As a matter
mess.
of fact, we should say one of the reasons that we went
a mess.
live with this this morning, instead of pre-taping it on Friday, because we had
right.
yesterday off, was that we had to hurriedly rewrite sections of this trailer because they reversed yet again one of their
Yes.
decisions. So then we had to change the beginning, change the end of it, and it's crazy.
I wish YouTube still let you do annotation so we could just be like, sorry, we wrote this before they
Like a
changed their
pop-up
mind the
video?
7th time. We're not actually going to rewrite it, but we
We're
can't do that
already
anymore.
screwed because they just rehired Kevin Hart 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, what a hot mess. It's like they're on a dare to see how many people they can piss off before the show, and
Yeah.
they just keep racking up points.
It's weird that just make a nice award show. That's all. I feel like that's all you have. They keep being like, let's razzle dazzle.
But
and
no,
it's like,
I was reading a story yesterday with the head producer of the show, and she was like, it's like, well, with all the changes, you're gonna make the 3 hour time. She's like, no, but we're trying to figure out how to make the show something besides award commercial.
It's an
That's so
award show.
boring. I'm
It's
like,
a
that's the show. Like, you want to not do an award show then.
Yeah.
If you don't want to just hand out a bunch of awards and then go to commercial, then I don't know what kind of show you're attempting to produce, because that's literally what the Oscars is.
Yeah.
It's so stupid because, the Grammys and the Tonys have the benefit of, you can do that art live. You
Right.
can have musical performances. You can have people do what they're being awarded for. With the Oscars, you're not going to have them all act.
Although, that I would like to see. They have a 3-wall set that they put out, and then you just have Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga reenact
do the bathtub scene.
nose scene,
Or,
in the bar.
or every year, all of the best actor and best actress and supporting nominees all have to do at least a scene from 12 Angry Men. Just just everyone does a scene from a famous play.
Or you make the director, you make the editor go there and cut something together. They put up the big timeline in Premiere, and they're just quietly click.
They put some very dramatic Philip Glass and lighting around him while he's on stage doing it.
Maybe they have all the nominees editing at one time to see who cuts together.
They have a cut battle?
Maybe they have a movie by the end of it. They make a short film.
Ooh,
that'd
I
be
like
cool.
that.
the
a
writers write
24-hour
it.
film
Yeah.
contest.
Yeah.
I like that.
During the
While
awards.
they're editing, the hairstylists are styling their hair.
Yeah.
We solved it.
Movie magic, people. Live at the Oscars.
You're welcome.
I guess that's all we'll say about the show, because most of this trailer is about the films themselves.
we have a lot of movies to talk
Let's do
about.
a lot of movies. Let's start
Yeah.
it, and then we'll discuss each one as they proceed. And I lost my headphones. It's fine. I know it's... I can hear through your...
I know, it's crazy. I hope the microphone's not there.
It's time once again for the Oscars, who, after pissing everyone off by suggesting a new popular film category, pissing everyone off by hiring and/or firing Kevin Hart, and pissing everyone off by cutting then uncutting important awards from the show,
Rewrite.
will now be pissing everyone off by awarding Best Picture to one of the following 8 nominees.
Now, pause.
direct-
Just something about the field this year. I think that people will be mad no matter what.
Yes.
And I don't think that's usually the case, but I think it's especially the case this
There's
year.
usually some people mad at the winner, but I think this is a weird field of Best Picture nominees where no one's really behind one specific
Yeah.
one, but a lot of people seem to be against several of them.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really weird.
Yeah.
Everyone already turned against A Star Is Born, I think.
Yeah.
There was like the huge groundswell of support for it, and then I think people just got over it like really quick.
Yeah, everyone hates Bohemian Rhapsody, except for people who like it.
Yeah.
No one feels anything about Vice, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like
Green Book is like
loved and hated.
Loved and hated.
Roma is not seen by most, but divisive amongst those who
Yep.
did see it.
Yeah.
Black Panther is just weirdly divisive for some weird reason that has to do with the quality of the movie, I guess.
Yeah.
And is that all of them?
BlacKkKlansman.
BlacKkKlansman? I guess not enough
I guess that would be
saw?
like people wouldn't be mad.
I think
at
strangely the
BlacKkKlansman.
one about the KKK is the one that most people would be fine with.
Yeah,
It's gonna
dude,
slide right in.
Yeah,
The favorite.
I think it is
The
his
favorite,
year,
whatever.
though.
Yeah.
The favorite would be like, what the hell's the favorite? Like,
Yeah.
we've never heard of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's a lose situation.
Yeah. At the very least, someone will be like, Spike earned it. Like, it's a long time coming for Spike.
Yeah.
That's fine. And then they'll move on.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Okay.
let's
Well,
keep
there
going.
you go.
From a director comes the combination of wigs, teeth, and Mike Myers in-jokes you didn't know Freddie Mercury deserved.
Well, that's the kind of song teenagers can crank up the volume in their car and bang their heads to.
In this
Best Picture
Lifetime movie,
nominated.
it's one great Rami Malek performance from being the non-parody version of Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
I don't need anyone.
I don't need anybody.
Hiya.
All right, again, faster.
Your parents. I just wanted to know whether they were proud of you.
What do your parents think about your protest songs?
Being human is a condition that requires little anesthesia.
Cocaine.
Freddie Mercury's got to think about his whole life before he gets on stage. Freddie, Queen of Rock.
So pause.
It's a very
Kevin.
timely Mary Queen of Scots.
Mary
joke.
Queen of Scots,
Yeah,
yeah.
if you're wondering.
They'll love it.
Freddie Queen of Rocks. Credit to Kevin, our editor, because we, in our haste and just laziness, really, just wrote in the script.
Oh, JT, you gotta
Everything's
say hi.
okay?
Echo, I'm gonna fix it while you
Oh, there's a little bit of echo.
there's a little-
Oh,
good.
Like
Really?
the echo.
Yeah. Just JT.
Coming to you live from the Thunderdome.
Who would have predicted?
Who could have seen the
So-
echo?
Kevin, our editor,
Oh,
Echo
who's awesome. Are we fixed?
Thank you,
Hang on.
JTE.
Are we fixed? No, well, not in my head.
That's
I'm just
fine.
turning it down. Kevin, our editor,
Yeah.
we in the script just wrote
Compare this.
Bohemian Rhapsody / Walk Hard clips.
yeah, they're very similar films.
Not knowing what we wanted really at all, just confident that that joke was probably in there somewhere.
Yeah.
And God bless him, he pulled him, he killed it.
Step 2 of that. I believe I don't know what the exact order was, but I believe it was something like Kevin saying, coming to Dan first maybe, and being like, "What Walk Hard clip should I use?" And Dan being like, "I haven't seen it in a while. Ask Joe."
That's
Hey,
literally how that conversation
What Walk
went.
Hard clip should I use? I haven't seen it in a long time. That's a Spencer or Dan question.
Like, I haven't seen it in a while. It's been a few years. Yeah.
I think our best advice is you should just rent it and watch it.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Kev.
Sorry, Kevin.
Yeah.
To be fair, it was 8 movies at once.
8 movies at the same
You
time.
knocked it out
tough.
though, buddy.
Yeah.
Good job. You crushed it, and luckily the joke was there.
Yeah. Bohemian Rhapsody, I think, is it's kind of
movie.
well, to me, it's like kind of Forrest Gump syndrome, where it's people hate it because of the Oscar prestige around it. Like,
I'm perplexed by that.
yeah.
But
I don't know why this is nominated for Best Picture, but as far as musical rock jukebox biopics go, it's like, oh, Freddie Mercury or Rami Malek's doing a really good Freddie Mercury, and I love Queen music.
Yeah.
But the movie itself is not. It's just not that good.
I would never nominate it for Best
No.
Picture, but I liked it.
Yeah.
I would
didn't
nominate it for
hate it.
best Freddie Mercury impression.
Yeah.
Because it's a good one.
It's a great performance inside a very standard mediocre
Yes.
movie, and I didn't hate it. I feel like people. I guess the thing that people hate the most is that it's not accurate historically. I mean, gee,
Well, I know that
every
I
biopic ever, and it's not like The Greatest Showman where they made him into a different person. It's like they squiffed some dates. Man on the Moon is a great Andy Kaufman biopic. He didn't have cancer when he did the Carnegie Hall show, but it made for a better movie. Like
Right.
that just
They
kind of
definitely
sort of
made him
happens sometimes.
like a heroic tortured artist.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, history's written by its own.
But I would never go into this thinking, oh, this is the real history, especially knowing the backstory of like the band being so protective of everything.
Yeah, it's ludicrous to think that that's actually how. Yeah, it was a great performance, I thought. A very mediocre movie with great music, and the Live Aid thing was great. Like that was a really well done sequence. I don't know who directed it, but it was really well edited.
Nobody knows.
No one knows.
Same ADs that directs most of his cool sequences. Hey, did you like Nightcrawler invading the White House? He didn't do it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, so interesting. Much maligned for fair reasons, but I think wouldn't be getting nearly as much if it wasn't a Best Picture nominee.
Yeah.
It's just like that fun biopic that came out.
It is ridiculous that it's nominated for Best Picture.
Yes,
I will openly acknowledge that.
Not a great film. All right, keep going.
Not a great film.
In a world where The Dark Knight, Logan, The Avengers, Deadpool, and Wonder Woman were overlooked for Best Picture, and fans have spent years griping that no comic book movies ever get nominated for the highest award, one film will finally get the nod, leading rabid fans everywhere to say, I guess it was good, but was it that good? There is no pleasing you, is there? Black Panther's third act looked like a PlayStation cutscene, and did it really pick up enough nominations to win? And I personally liked Infinity War better, and furthermore...
Pause. So yeah, that's our that's at this point the backlash to the backlash against Black Panther is it's a really good movie, and if any comic book film deserved it this year, I think it was Black Panther, more so than Infinity War. Again, great film, but Best
I'd
Picture.
put Spider-Verse in there before Black Panther, personally.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I would have put both of them in over Bohemian Rhapsody.
If that's the line, and there's about 50 movies I would have put in over Bohemian Rhapsody. Yeah,
long list. Yeah, and I really do think it actually might win, which is insane.
It's got as good a chance as any of them.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Guild Awards this year? It's crazy. Like the Writers Guild Awards were this week, and it's like, this is the one award show that will finally tell us who's a front runner in the Oscars, because Green Book and Vice and all these other movies are up for it, and it went to 8th grade.
8th grade.
It wasn't even nominated. So it's like, nope, nobody knows. It's
They're
chaos.
all split.
The Academy Awards are absolute chaos.
Yeah, so I do think that like the big crowd-pleasing, super popular hit with like the social conscience aspect that you would want from a Best Picture movie, like it's checking a lot of boxes. I don't know.
It's as likely to win as I would be. As I said, I would be surprised but not shocked if it won Best Picture. But yeah, it's. I just found it's very ironic that for years now, 10 years, starting with really The Dark Knight, it's every time there's a great comic book movie, it's why didn't it get nominated for Best Picture? And then one does, and it's like, well, not that one. It's like, well, hang on, like. Even if you don't like Black Panther, and I wouldn't have nominated it for Best Picture either, but I don't begrudge it being nominated, and I understand why it was nominated, and it's a really good movie. Even if you don't like Black Panther, you would think if you're a fan of comic book movies, at the very least you would acknowledge that it is a great step forward toward recognizing the genre, so maybe in the future, if there's one that you like better, the precedent has been set now that it could potentially be included.
Yeah, but nerd culture is going to eat itself, so it's not going to think like that.
Gonna. We are currently like foot literally in mouth.
The snake is the snake's tail is eating its tail. I sat next to I was at lunch yesterday, sitting next to two guys in a very small restaurant that were loudly discussing every Star Wars talking point from the last 15 years, and I went to go sit on the curb and eat on the street. It's enough already. It's my God. Wow. I feel like Shatner in that the Star Trek sketch from the 80s. Like, come on. It's supposed to be a lark.
This stuff's supposed to be fun.
Exactly.
What's wrong?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
So yeah, be happy for how far we've come.
Yeah.
You know, who'd have thunk when the MCU got going that there'd be Black Panther would be nominated for Best Picture.
Who'd have thunk?
Who'd have thunk it? Not us. Let's do the favorite.
Yorgos Lanthimos. From Yorgos Lanthimos, from the director of The Lobster, comes the other Queen biopic nominated for Best Picture this year. That's also about a difficult, charismatic figurehead and the people who jockey for power around them, and features scenes of its eccentric, demanding main character surrounded by cute, furry animals. I'm not gonna lie, if this movie ended with Queen Anne performing at Live Aid, it'd have my vote. Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
All right. Pause.
Pause.
So this movie, Lon was telling me, it's actually a lot more accurate than Bohemian Rhapsody. Like, there really was this jockeying for power. Nicholas Holt's character was real and was trying to sue for peace and trying to gain the influence of the Queen's, handlers and everything but the rabbits.
Really?
Yeah, pretty much.
I thought the rabbits was the one thing that
everything
was
but the rabbits and the explicit sexual relationship. It was like rumored at the time.
Right.
Everyone was like, this is probably going on, but there's no pictures. But the otherwise this is
there was no Inquirer at the time.
Exactly. Got him.
Even if they had old timey cameras, it'd be really hard to sneak that into a bush.
TMZ was really weird at the time. Queen Anne, can you hang out for a half hour?
Guy in a powdered wig painting an oil portrait
At the window.
I've heard you've had intercourse with a woman. Get comments.
I will, because of the lobster clip in there, Kevin, again, shout out to Kevin, pointed out that John C. Reilly pops up a lot in this trailer because he popped up in the Dewey Cox thing.
Yep.
He popped up in that clip from The Lobster. And then he pops up again when we talk about Vice.
Vice for Step Brothers.
John C. Reilly was
prolific.
everywhere this year anyway, but it's weird. He's literally independently popped up 3 different times in this trailer.
Good guy. Good actor.
This is the other one that I don't mind if it wins. Like, it's just
weird.
such a bizarre movie, and the way he moves the camera is really interesting, and I don't know, it's just a really odd, out there movie.
Is it just me, or does it feel like the La La Land thing should have happened this year?
Yes.
Like, that happening would have been the perfect capper to this Oscars,
Yes.
and not the one 2 years ago for them to screw up the Best Picture.
It absolutely did.
That would have been just...
Yep.
It now feels like, based on what we know now about the Oscars, it feels like the La La Land was them dark universing the Oscars, where they were setting up we don't know how to do this franchise, like right at the end of their Oscars.
Is it possible that the La La Land Moonlight thing was the hinge point for the crazy alternate universe that we're all living in now? Like, it's the Gray's Sports Almanac of this timeline where there's a timeline where they just said Moonlight and everything just went according to plan, but we're in the timeline where the guy was on his phone and they said La La Land and everything went crazy and like the world's craziest butterfly effect, everything has just rippled out.
It's not a butterfly. It's a what else has big wings? What has bigger wings than a butterfly? Yeah, a bird. Mothra. It's a Mothra effect. It's knocked over. There's now like 20-year storms hitting Los Angeles. And
What's the movie called where Earth's out of orbit next to Jupiter now?
Wandering Earth.
Wandering
Earth now.
Now.
Review to come, Dan? I hope so. Maybe. Okay. I was thinking about it just to let people know what the hell is going on. It's crazy. I don't want to move to China, but I want to see more movies from China.
Fair enough.
I don't think I want to move there quite yet.
Yeah. All right. Let's keep going.
From the mind who brought you Jeff Daniels' Chronic Diarrhea. And Cameron
Never forget.
with jizz in her hair comes a film based on the personal stories of this guy. They were completely refuted by the living relatives of this guy.
Dignity always prevails.
As the Civil Rights era South is handled with as much subtlety as you'd expect from the guy who made Shallow Hal.
Oh, there she is. There's Rosemary.
Where?
Right there.
Is she behind the rhino?
Featuring show-stopping...
I guess Jason Alexander has a habit of playing like the horrible friend in rom-coms.
Pretty Woman.
This and Pretty Woman, I'm just realizing, like...
I mean, someone's got to do it. If you're good at it.
Someone's got to make that like third act, like horrific act that the guy is going to be like, whoa, wait, stop, asshole. I'm not like you anymore.
Yeah.
I've spent an hour and a half changing so that we can't play pickup basketball anymore.
I've been listening to your horrible advice for my entire life.
The last shot is always him on the court with the basketball shrug, like, where are you going?
Come on, man.
Where you going?
Back to that broad. You'll be back.
Yeah.
Or he's then like, he falls in love with like her weird best friend who's like, she's so weird.
Doesn't he have a tail in this movie?
Yes, he does. He has a vestigial tail, I believe.
I'm just starting to remember things about Shallow Hal.
Yeah. I saw it once and never again. Like Stuck on You. Well, the Farrelly brothers are once and done. One and done.
One
for
and
me.
done.
But Gwyneth is too good to be in Marvel movies. Okay, fine.
She's only done 8 of them.
Yeah. All right.
You know she thought that this movie was going to be like life-affirming for women.
Sorry for the digression. Well, that's the things, the Farrelly brothers, like, they try. Like, they seem to have, like, we're going to make this message like the Johnny Knoxville one about the Special Olympics and the Stuck on You. Like, our message at the end is going to be good after 2 hours of making jokes about these people, about how stupid they are.
That one's fascinating because Johnny Knoxville legit is like a massive supporter of the Special Olympics, donates money, participates every year, and he had been up to that point. And so the A to Z like process of making that movie of him being like, this is great, guys, this is great, guys, this is great, guys, this is great, guys, just having no idea. Like, I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah. Before we start up again, there is, I don't know if you can ever find it, but there's a hilarious old SNL sketch with Jeff Daniels where he's on a talk show.
Yes.
And it's like inside the actor's studio. And every time they cue up a clip from his work, it's just him on the pole with diarrhea every time. And it's hilarious. And he just like comes like,
I've done other things.
I've done other things. Like, you're right. Let's look at this clip from the Fabulous Baker Boys or whatever. I don't know. And it's like, he comes back. He's like, I mean, that was a comedy. What do you want me to do?
Wasn't there a news blooper where they kicked to that instead of the clip, like somebody quitting or something like that?
Yeah, it's on YouTube somewhere.
It's the clip that keeps on giving.
Yeah, it really
is. Oh,
yeah.
That's going to be with him forever.
Yeah, all right.
All right, keep going.
And the Rhino? Featuring show-stopping turns from Mahershala Ali as Don Shirley and Viggo Mortensen as one of the cartoon Italian chefs you see on the pizza box.
Oh, no, but why you break my balls?
With the powerful message that racism, and stay with me on this, is bad. Whoa. Oh, I'm driving here.
Oh yeah, Green Book.
Let's talk about it a little bit.
I feel like we summed it up pretty much in that.
This is like this is a good social movie made by boomers who are just like, I just want to say racism is bad and feel good about it, and that's really all I kind of want to do. And it's fine. It's made for boomers, made by boomers. That's kind of how I saw that movie. Two great performances that probably deserved a slightly better
I mean,
script.
it feels like Best Picture 1998, maybe 92.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I guess, you know, when you... The thing that doesn't bug me about the movie, because like I thought it was fine and the performances are great, but it's like if you really follow it, well, okay, a couple things aren't right in that it's completely made up.
It is
aside from
largely fictional.
Putting that aside,
largely fictional.
Putting that aside, is that like Mahershala Ali's character, like Don Shirley, never gets to know how racist Viggo is. Like he's like
Viggo
he's
kinda
literally
walks that
throwing
path
out
alone.
glasses that a black person touched before he meets Mahershala Ali, and like there's never that reckoning, like there's never that knowledge between the two of them. Like he's just kind of like his sort of standoffish, but like he's a nice driver.
It's half a great movie. The Mahershala Ali part is a great movie, and the Viggo Mortensen thing is Best Picture nominee 1987.
Right.
Racism is bad, and we don't want to put in the work to actually
into two.
And how great is Viggo's journey that he learned by meeting like truly one of the most incredible African American or otherwise people of all history. That like he's like, you know, you're not so bad. You can eat with mama.
Hey, pasta.
I didn't hate it.
We're gonna make a big multicultural sauce.
I didn't hate it. I actually liked it. It's flawed. I get that it is flawed. I still think at its core, it's about people finding common ground and putting aside their differences, and I don't think that's necessarily such a bad thing.
It's
to have
evil,
in a movie.
Dan.
But
it's not evil. It's just
me.
like
it's not groundbreaking.
I get it.
But well, I know. But if it's a great message, I'm not going to go after them because they were trying to make something positive in this crazy La La Land world that we're in. But it's flawed.
It doesn't bother you that they took somebody's real life and twisted that to
But that's an entirely separate issue. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, I think there's the movie, and then there's the making of the movie, and there's two different. I think there's a couple different. It's a multifaceted conversation, which means it's boring.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
let's just
Moving
all go
on.
to one side.
You've seen 25th Hour. You didn't? Okay. You've seen Malcolm X. No?
I love
really?
25th Hour, yeah.
Yes, Denzel
I mean, I love
was great in that. You should
a
check
lot,
it out.
Most of Spike
You've
Lee's
seen
movies.
Do the Right Thing.
I love
Oh,
Chirac.
come on!
Come on.
Stop
Yeah.
rewatching Infinity
gotta
War
see
for like a
Chirac.
minute. Okay, let's start over. You've heard of Spike Lee. Yes, the guy at the next games. Now strap in for a terrifying portrait of white supremacy in the 70s that's just as relevant today, which earned Spike Lee his first Best Director nomination and really puts a damper on reruns of that 70s show.
God bless white America.
Someone should really make this David Duke guy watch Green Book. Joanna Clan.
No, we went with Joanna Clan.
I let Kevin break the tie, and he picked correctly. It's not just a pun on like, oh, this sounds like this. Joanna Man is also about somebody going undercover to infiltrate the WNBA. So there's parallels.
It works, man.
It's a layered pun.
Fair enough.
Yeah, this film, it's not my favorite Spike Lee movie, but I'm glad he's getting his due.
Yeah.
I thought that, the way it towed the line between like comedy and suspense kind of deflated the suspense of it for me. Like I felt like I should have been more on the edge of my seat in a movie about this guy going undercover with the KKK, but a lot of the time they were just kind of like busting out jokes and stuff like that, which apparently is more true to the real story. Like if you read about the real guys retelling, it's like these guys were morons. Like they were never really close to uncovering that there was something sketchy going on. Like they were idiots.
Yeah.
So obviously they had to like build in some tension and some like suspicion on their part, but it never quite like gripped me as much as I thought the premise should have. That said, a fine film, and I'm glad he's getting nominated.
I loved it until I had some people's favorite part of the movie. My least favorite part of the movie was the end, when they tied it directly into today, because that felt like it was a very good metaphor, or at least sort of a stand-in for what's happening today. And then I felt like the last 5 minutes of the movie, Spike Lee just took a 2x4 out and just like slapped the audience in the face.
That's
like,
Spike Lee,
this
though.
is what I've been saying for 2 hours, which I got it from the rest of the movie.
Sure.
But I understand why other people feel differently, because it's certainly very evocative and visceral, and it does end it with a bit of a gut punch. But apart from that, I love the rest of that movie. Again, that's why it seems like
sometimes it's better to give the audience, 2 + 2, and have them go, oh, 4, instead of saying 2 + 2 is 4.
Yeah, and you're right. That's not it's not the first time Spike Lee's done that. He's that kind of filmmaker. He's very provocative filmmaker, and he wants to evoke the maximum amount of emotion out of an audience.
Yeah.
But I felt that was a bit unnecessary for that film, but I understand why people feel differently.
I think it works for an audience today, because when you watch people communicate and stuff online, like nothing's on a team anymore. Like everything can be twisted for whatever you want. Like someone can be like, the sky is blue, and people on the left can use that, and then people on the right can use it for the same thing. And so I think for Spike Lee, it's like I have to have a very specific, because even with like the Charlottesville stuff, they use like people on the right and alt-right, and even people that support the Klan and blah 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 will somehow weirdly twist like yes, the liberals who are angry at the Klan there are bad. And so I think with an audience like that, I think Spike Lee's got to kind of go like 2 + 2 is 4. It's not -5. It's not like La La Land weird reality 4. It's just 4. Like you kind of got to be direct.
Yeah. I feel like if you're going to deny math exists, then telling them that 2 + 2 is 4 doesn't really help much.
Yeah, well,
but that's just me.
We all know where Spike Lee stands on this whole KKK thing.
Yeah, I think he stands on the side of Green Book.
Oh God,
I bet he doesn't.
All right, let's do Vice.
From Adam McKay, who's a lock for an Oscar nomination.
John Bob's playing movie just for real.
Lately, comes
Nice nutsack
physical transformation from Christian Bale, who's been skinny, fat, and bat. In a Dick Cheney biopic that's 1 part drama, 1 part comedy, and 18 parts makeup, with a powerful message that unchecked authority, abuse of power, and shady tactics, and stay with me on this, are bad. Dick.
Pause.
Not much to
say. I mean, I actually had the same issue with this film as you did about BlacKklansman, which was when he broke the fourth wall and addressed the camera at the end of Vice, and he was like, "Oh, you think I'm a jerk? Like I was? You want me on that wall? You need me on that wall?" Where like and I guess my issue in broader terms is like I didn't know what message you were supposed to take away from this, except that like this happened or this guy existed, but I was seeing it as more of like kind of like a farce or like a comedy of errors where this guy just kind of bumbled his way into this position of immense power, and he didn't really have an ideology. He was just like doing whatever it took to serve himself.
Yeah.
And then at the end he was like, I am the true American patriot hero that you don't deserve. But like that wasn't the movie I just watched. Like,
Yeah.
It was a mixed bag.
Yeah.
There was a lot of different things going on in that film,
Yeah.
which I liked a lot of them, and some of them I was like, all right. That's
like Big
interesting.
Short was chaotic and crazy, but like also weirdly focused at the same time with like what it was trying to get across to you, and
Right.
Vice not so much.
Yeah, and then it was a definite love-hate moment of like the early roll credits.
I love that.
I loved it, but
was
then I
great.
thought about it, and like so much of who he is, I imagine, comes from being like the global oil CEO guy. Like that seems like it was pretty much a pivotal part in his life. But what do I know? I don't. I think it was a good film if you don't know much about that era in politics.
It's like a nice Cliff Notes.
It's a really fun, entertaining Cliff's Notes about the Bush years, but as someone who I don't know lived through it and was at least marginally aware of who he was and what he was doing, I was like, yes, I know. Okay,
I remember.
Yeah, I wasn't there, but I didn't know the early life stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
there was such a fuck up. Sorry. Anyways, sorry. Everyone gets one. All right, let's do A Star Is Born.
First-time director Bradley Cooper comes a film that comes along once in a generation. Literally, like once in every generation since 1937. Featuring New York-born, immensely talented, world-famous pop star Lady Gaga in the role of a lifetime as California-born, immensely talented, world-famous pop star Ally. And featuring that one Lady Gaga duet you can't get out of your head, no matter how hard you try. No.
Oops.
The other one. We all agree to get that one out of our head. Bad Romance.
Pause.
boy.
Obviously, we have a lot more to say about that movie.
Yes,
maybe in a
which you might see
forthcoming
soon.
trailer or what have you. So maybe we shouldn't dive too deep into it here.
Yeah, I don't want
So I don't want to be repetitious.
But I can just say that, good Lord, that R. Kelly video is uncomfortable.
Yes.
She's managed to scrub it mostly from the internet, but it's like he's basically operating on her as a patient and like getting her all types of horny because of that. So yeah, R. Kelly should be in jail, and apparently when all this came out and she pulled it, sales of that song went up, so we're all going to hell.
Naturally. That's how that works.
Again, La La Land reality. Everything's bad.
If only he'd pulled the right envelope. Let's do Roma. Let's dig into Roma. Suck it, Roma.
Knives
From
out.
Netflix, the company who wants to earn its big boy pants, comes a film that got Academy voters to wonder what it would be like if their housekeepers were actual people. In this intimate, sweeping, emotional portrait of 1970s Mexico, pulled straight from its director's brain, and stunningly realized through dazzling acting and cinematography that you skipped because it's so much easier just to rewatch The Office again.
Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
Tidying up with Yalitza Aparicio.
All right, pause.
Roma.
Beautiful film. A little too quiet and slow for some, but to me, haunting and gorgeous, and I'm sure would have been even more important had I known any about that time period. I had to read up on it and then look back around the basically revolutions going on in Mexico at the time that were kind of literally happening in the background of that movie.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I just thought it was... I really liked it. I know a lot of other people didn't.
I found it haunting and gorgeous and quiet and slow.
Yeah, which is also totally fine.
You could pause any point of it, print that, and frame it, and put it on your wall, and it would be a beautiful piece of art. God knows how to shoot a movie.
Yeah.
And that's what I said when I finished watching it.
But one that I think will hold up even better down the line is there's like more. It's interesting when you realize that I'm a real mediocre brain when it comes to film. When you see someone like Guillermo del Toro was tweeting about this movie and was just pointing out like so much that I didn't notice about it, and like the metaphors of water and like the way he's using different imagery and like all this stuff, and I was like, whoa. Like, there's certain films where you just know that, like, there's so much more going on under the surface, and I can only tell that there is more going on. I just don't know what it is.
Right.
And this is one of those movies
Well,
for me.
compared to Guillermo del Toro, we're all mediocre brains when it comes to
He comes out with a social media essay like that, and I'm like, M. Night Shyamalan uses orange sometimes.
So he uses, like, the orange to represent the good and the blue for the bad.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Guillermo del Toro do, like, that kind of thing on YouTube, but he does it with, like, the cheap arrow thumbnails with things circled. So that's how you get 4 million people to watch a Guillermo del Toro like detailed breakdown of a film. Is he makes a YouTube video with like the waves with a red circle around it and a big arrow.
Yes, thumbnail of like 69 things you didn't notice about Roma.
Exactly.
And it's like him, and it's like shot from just above. And
he's in Philip DeFranco's living room or whatever for some reason.
You just see the big like mic, and he's sitting clearly like at his computer with like a wall of DVDs.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's how we do it.
Yeah, I
don't know, man.
Let's get him on.
How do you do it?
I don't know. All right, that's it for Roma. Let's wrap it up.
Starring
special guest star
the following Oscar snubs.
It can be hard to be snubbed sometimes.
Second rewrite.
Mr. Rogers, your documentary was the biggest snub this year.
Oh, well, that's mighty nice of you to say, neighbor. But I'm just worried about these other fine films getting their due. But I would have been pleased as punch if they kept the awards for Best Makeup and Hairstyling on TV, or Best Editing, or Best Cinematography. Oh, that one's important. Cinematography. Can you say that?
Cinematography.
Very good.
The Academy changed their mind, Mr. Rogers. Those awards are back in the show.
Oh, did they change their mind about my film too?
No.
Well, isn't that a kick in the patoot? But they could still give an award for best stunts. Tom Cruise put his life at risk for your entertainment. Isn't that special? Lots of women made lovely films this year. Deborah Granick and Lynn Ramsey come to mind. I love movies about how important it is to protect children. Well, maybe not with a hammer, but, you know. Oh, and of course, Toni Collette. I don't want to be a potty mouth, but that's messed up. Oh, excuse my language.
No problem, Mr. Rogers. It's a beautiful day on the internet when you're around. The Oscars 2019.
Well, there you go. I hope we did a good enough.
This is shaping up to be the worst Oscars since the La La Land debacle, or since Crash won, or since Franco and Hathaway hosted, or since the Oscars were televised.
You know what I didn't realize until watching this back for like notes and stuff is the guy who screwed it up is in that shot of him holding up the envelope.
Oh,
He's
wow.
over. JT, can you go back to the La La Land shot? So wait when he holds
he
up,
gets
when he
out
holds
of
up,
there.
Yeah, look, he's making a break.
He's making a break for it.
He's making a break for it. Watch, keep going till the end. He looks back. Yeah, he is making a hasty retreat out of there as fast as he can.
Exhibit 1, Your Honor.
I'd like to. Yeah.
Gosh darn it! You know, how'd that happen?
He is beating a path out of that shot as quickly as he possibly can. Yeah.
Wow.
So, there you
Jimmy
go.
Kimmel on the other side. That's
Jimmy
great.
Kimmel lost.
Love it.
Gift that keeps giving.
I think we. I can't recall the name, but that's but big thanks to our last minute Mr. Rogers impersonator,
Yes.
who I believe does the voice of Mr. Rogers on Family
If
Guy.
he's not credited now, we will make sure to add him to the credits of the trailer. He's in the credits? Yes. Okay. I feel so bad. He was very last minute. He came through very last minute for us, thankfully, and was great and did that. And I
so props, because otherwise it did sound like John talking to himself.
It did, yeah.
Because he does a Mr. Rogers, and I think if it wasn't right next to his own voice, it would have
It would
worked.
have been solid, but yeah, it does sound like he's like gone crazy.
It sounded like he's golluming. And one of his personalities was Mr. Rogers.
Okay, well, I hope that's not in the deleted scenes, but let's see what else we got.
Not starring. Best stunts. A host. Best makeup and hairstyling.
Oh,
Best
this is what would happen if we didn't get
Best
Mr. Rogers.
cinematography.
Yeah.
And best editing. But who cares about editing, am I right? What are you waiting for? Cut to something else already. Oh, not that. Fine, okay, we need editing. Point taken.
You're goddamn right.
The Oscars 2019.
There's a lot of pent-up Kevin. I just had to watch Dewey Cox for no reason.
Yeah, sorry, Kevin.
Yeah, clearly we need editing. We are nothing without editors.
Yeah, I mean...
Except for this show, we're doing it live. We're nothing without you, JT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, bud.
Toil rules.
I feel like we have to wrap it up because we have to do another show in a few
15
minutes.
Yeah.
So let's just say thank you for watching to this point. We'll be back next Tuesday for one of the films you just saw. I think you can guess which one it is if you watch this video. And it sounds like the place is falling apart. So, all right, we'll say goodbye real quick.
There's a bullet rolling outside.
Woo!